Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Should've adjusted to my life. Had the opportunity to stay away from the last time. They said right in front of me. It hurts me to know that lie. Trying to protect your feelings. You read in between the lines. Hope your heart is turning headlight. Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Even though you might get mad at me. Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Don't be afraid to stand alone. Don't be afraid to stand outside your comfort zone. I know it's hard away from home. It ain't easy all alone. Relationships over the phone. Talking to your significant other. Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Even though you might get mad at me. Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Love and death are quite similar, how they come and go like cat burglars. Reality is kind of hard to face like active factors and flat earthers. Rain's a requirement for clouds to blow, and pain's a requirement for power to grow. It's a miracle how one can change from what was just hours ago. Such is life though, it's just a cycle. The bigger picture and the smaller picture exactly the same. It's micro. Crack your atom and let your light glow. One day you can be the king of pop and the next one just be wacko Michael. It's human nature, it's like you told us. Let's face reality, crack the cycle. No, it hurts to see the truth in your face. Circumstances bring you down to your knees. Go on and cry an ocean, but don't drown in it. Enough to put your heart at ease. Oh, don't lose your self-esteem. I apologize for being a man. It's way harder than what it seems. Sometimes it's hard to face reality. You might get mad at me. But I'll be on your bad side. Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Sometimes it's hard to face reality.
Good. So I'll have them, I'll refer to you.
Are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
Might as well, no? Because I didn't really put that thing into my ear, so I think it was more aggravating. So ready?
Yeah, I think so.
It's pretty good, Josh.
It's a good turnout, for sure.
You really can tell who's from outside and who's from Google.
Test 2, 3. You guys hear me out there? Hear me okay?
Yeah, we're gonna have to close that door.
Yeah, we will. It's okay, you still have a minute. Get comfortable. But you can hear me, right? Yeah? Awesome. Okay, we'll get started in about 30 seconds. I don't think we need to close it. We need to close the door.
You sure?
I don't think so.
I would like to interview with people on the webinar. How do we know anybody's coming? Oh, we don't see them, right?
She'll be able to see. So we're closing you in here so you can't leave. No, I'm just kidding. It's just for sound and for better viewing of our screens. If you need to leave, you can still use this door over here. Don't freak out. All right. Welcome, Austin. How are you guys? Woo! Okay, I'm Josh. I'll be your host for the evening. Thank you for spending your Wednesday with us. So great.
Monday.
Did I say Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Wednesday in San Francisco where I came from. No. Your Monday. Thank you for spending part of your Monday with us. We're going to start off. This is the coolest room we've ever done a Waze front seat tour event in. So we're going to start off with a great little viral video by my friend Juhi. So how do you want to do this? On the count of three, everybody?
So on the count of three, everyone put your hands up and say, woo!
Okay, ready? Because I know you've had a little wine and beer. Should be fine. All right, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Was that enough? Okay. We boomerang that or something? Okay, so a couple of notes. We have about a half an hour's worth of stuff and plenty of time for your questions. So excited to hear what you guys want to hear about Waze Carpool. We are live streaming this event too. So just want to give the folks on the live stream a view of you. So wave to the live stream. Hey, everybody. Awesome. Cool. And live, this is me. I'm Josh. Hi, everybody. Okay. Back to the presentation. So thank you so much for being here. We've been in Texas for a few months, but this is our first event. So we're super, super psyched to be here, to be explaining Waze Carpool to you, to hear from you on what you want to do to make this a better service for everyone. We did a little survey in order to get you all here, and it sounds like many of you are new to Waze Carpool. I feel like 90% of you are here to learn more but haven't yet used the service. So put your hand up if you have not yet taken a carpool with us. Okay, so the survey was correct. All right, so now we're going to do the opposite of that. Put your hand in the air if you have taken a carpool with Waze Carpool, and keep it up. Okay, keep it up. So if you've done more than 2 carpools with us, keep it up. I promise there's a good reason. If you've done more than 5, for you few hardy souls. Okay, so we have 3 hands still up that have done 5 or more, and we can check, we can verify this. All right. But the 3 of you will be going home with one of our amazing Waze Carpool sweatshirts. Yes, 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 yes. It says on the back, Carpool Hero. It's very, very cool. So come up afterwards and get your sweatshirt. There's always a lot of great stuff at these events. All right, so the front seat tour, Waze Carpool, here we are. Let's learn why we are all here gathered on this Monday. I got it. Who's familiar with Waze's mission? You guys know Waze, right? There's some Waze fans in there. There's a guy with a Waze t-shirt up here. Thank you, sir. Waze's mission for the last 10 years, we've been around for about 10 years, has been to outsmart traffic by working together. So Waze only works if you're out there on the roads, you're driving with Waze on, you're reporting things, you get this amazing Waze win up there, you're on the highway where all the schmucks are down here, down below. Waze works because we all work together as a community. And after about 10 years and 4+ years within Google, we decided it was time to embark on a new mission, something even more audacious, something even more crazy, if you will. And that is to end traffic altogether. So that is our new mission at Waze. That is the motto that we live by. And we want freeways to look like this. This is down in Los Angeles, near where I grew up. And if we basically doubled the amount of people that we're carpooling today, which is 7, 8, 9%, depending on where you survey, we would have free-flowing freeways. It's true, like people have done the math. We really just need to essentially double the amount of people carpooling on the road. So this is our mission. Okay, enough about Waze and our mission. Tell me about Waze Carpool. That's why you're here. You're all new Wazers. I love it. So Carpool is our attempt to make carpool great again, or cool again, or however you want to phrase it. Carpool has been around for a long time. It's about a 100-year-old project. People were carpooling on the Model T a long, long time ago. In California, we have evidence of people carpooling in the teens and 20s, and it hasn't stuck. There have been periods throughout history where carpool has seen peaks, sort of, when gas has been expensive, or when the government has said like, hey, everybody, we got to carpool, we're at war, we need the rubber, and we need the gasoline. Those have been the peak periods of carpool throughout history. We are here to make today a peak period of carpool. And so the Waze Carpool experience that we've built has been a result of a lot of testing and a lot of user feedback, and I want to take you through it today and show you what we're all about. So our goal is to add a Waze rider to every Waze driver. And we have 100 million monthly active Waze drivers around the world. That's people who are just jumping in their car to go to work, and they turn on Waze because they want to be aware of what's out there and they want to get the best possible route. And if we can take those empty seats in that car and fill them with people, then we will succeed. We will be successful. So this is kind of how it works. There's a bunch of magic and mystery behind the scenes. No, this is our mission statement: to connect drivers and riders or passengers with similar destinations to commute together on the most optimal routes. And we have a lot of technology that does this, but it also relies on you, on the community, and we'll explain why that is in a little bit. So what's in it for you? Obviously, you're here for the food and the wine and the community, but like, why should you carpool? There's a few reasons why we think it's really important for people to carpool. One, the community that you build is second to none. It's community around where you live and around where you work. It's people that you didn't know could be part of your little micro community that could end up being lifelong friends or lifelong carpool buddies, or however you look at it. Saving time and saving money is key to this proposition. So I don't know if you knew that you could earn up to about 54 cents a mile for taking somebody with you on the road. It's called reimbursement for driving expenses. And that's a core part of our service, and we'll talk about that. Saving time, obviously, is important. You guys there's HOV lanes here, right? In and around the area. Those have been known to, especially in the places that we've measured, and we're starting to measure in Texas, significantly reduce people's commutes with HOV. We want you to feel good and do good do good for the earth while you're feeling good and doing good. And we want to end traffic altogether. So we can all do that together. These are sort of our 5 core benefits for why you should carpool. And then we know there's other services out there. So why Waze? Number 1, the network. The 100 million users around the world. If you're building a platform of riders and drivers, you have to start with some density. You have to start with some drivers. And we have the drivers. 2, data. A lot of Googlers in the room, I know. And between Maps and Google Maps and Waze Carpool, there are probably the best data and traffic insights on the planet in one place. We also have amazing routing and ETA algorithms. And if you've driven with us before, we can estimate where your work is and where your home is. And there's lots of reasons why we make it easy to get this done. And finally, our brand. Waze is pretty trusted. You guys all came because this was a Waze and a Google event. But if you're building an ecosystem, if you're building a community, it helps to trust the company that you're working with. And we have the most trusted brand in the navigation space. And when you carpool with Waze, you still get to navigate with Waze. Just to be clear right off the bat, because there's so many new folks in the room, carpool is not like rideshare or taxis. So we are not here for professional drivers, hired drivers who are trying to make a wage. These are regular people just like you or me, trying to get to their jobs, helping people out on the road. With Waze Carpool, you get to know your co-pilot. So we give you a lot of tools, and I'll show you some of these tools to really vet who you're going to drive with. When you get a taxi or an Uber or Lyft, that person shows up and you're jumping in the car and you're hoping that the company vetted that person. We give you the tools to really, really do that for yourselves and to get comfortable before you even get in the car. We make the most of drives that are already happening. So we are not adding cars to the road. I know there's a lot of campaigns out there to make you think that rideshare is taking cars from the road, but in San Francisco, where we've had rideshare as long as anyone, there's definitely more cars on the road. So with Carpool, you are making the most of drives that are already happening. We're never adding a route to the road that wasn't already there. Again, like I said, you're sharing costs. You're not, what does that say? Not earning. You're not earning income. So the money that you make through Waze Carpool is reimbursement for driving expenses. And that means that it's not, you don't need to report it. You don't need a 1099 at the end of the year. It's money that goes into your bank account and is free for you to collect and spend as you wish, hopefully on coffee for your riders. And then finally, you get that front seat. So we want Carpool to be fun and a community-based platform, and we want you to expect to jump in the front seat and have a really comfortable conversation with whoever you carpool with. And hopefully, like I said, you've vetted that person and you kind of know what you're getting into before you get in the car. So let's onboard. Okay, so who has not been through our onboarding process yet? It's okay, don't be shy. Put your hand in the air if you haven't even done it. We're gonna do it, we're gonna do it together. Okay, so take out your phones. Everybody take out your phones. Hopefully you've downloaded Waze Carpool already. If not, we have great Wi-Fi here at Google. You can get on the Google Guest network, and it's super fast. So you can onboard either as a driver or a rider. If you're going to onboard as a driver with me now, you're going to go through the Waze flow in the regular Waze app. You look in the lower right-hand corner for the little person with their hand up, and that's how you enter that flow. In Waze Carpool, you just download the Waze Carpool app for riders from the App Store, iOS or Android or wherever you are, and we're going to go through this flow together real quick. All right, so hopefully you can follow along. I'll try to slow down if you're having Wi-Fi issues, but this is the first screen you see as a rider. So it's actually animated. I couldn't animate it here for you, but these guys are bouncing along in the car together. Anybody know what those are called? The little yellow, the white blobs? Any Super Waze fans? Jelly beans, right? Is that right? Yeah, those are our jelly beans. So the jelly beans, there's 3 of them in this ride. Okay, so you get to this screen and you get started. And then the first thing we ask for is your home address. And this is obviously the key to any carpool service. We need to know where you live to get you from there to your workplace or your school. After you give us your home address, and if you've already driven with Waze, sometimes it appears there for you. We can suggest it to you if you're already a frequent Waze driver. You put in your work address or your school address. Some of the language here might say work, but we are also popular on campuses and welcoming people who are carpooling to school as well. So you give us your school address. That's also key. One thing I want to note here is these are your sort of home base addresses, but on every route throughout your week, you can change your addresses, right? So let's say you have one address that you use most of the time, but you're going to a different workplace 2 days a week. You can change that very easily within your within the actual calendar view, which I'll show you. Then you need to tell us when you leave home. You can ballpark this. Again, these are all very easily estimated ranges. And again, you can tailor them on every day of the week in every segment. And then you got to tell us when you usually leave work to head back home or to the gym or to wherever you're heading after work. Sorry for the feedback. Is that better? Stand back a little bit. All right, so leave for work. And then finally, what days of the week would you like to carpool with us? So let's say you know that Monday through Thursday is great, but Friday you work from home, you don't want to be bothered, you don't want to hear from riders. Just deselect Friday and you won't hear from us. And again, this is all changeable. Every week you can adjust these settings. We just need to get a baseline for you. Then you get to my favorite screen, which is on the left, the rider screen, and on the right, the driver screen. And this estimates for you based on your route from home to work, either how much it's going to cost per route or per ride, or how much you'll save. And the one on the right is that actual real screen that I saw recently. I've seen 400. I've seen lots of amazing values, and it's basically estimated by the distance of your route and the 54 cents a mile metric and a couple other things. So these are legit. After this screen, it's going to ask you to connect with Facebook or Google. I prefer Google for a plethora of reasons. But Facebook's great too. And when you connect your account with these services, it helps us do a lot of things. Number one, it helps us get a picture of you, which is important. This is a service focused on people, and we'll show you how important the pictures are in a second. But it also is going to help us in the future connect you with people who are in your circles, right? So at this point, it's pretty basic, but in the future, we want you to be able to see if you're Facebook friends with someone, if you're connected on LinkedIn, and give you all that information ahead of time so you can make great carpool choices. And then finally, this is probably the most important step in the whole onboarding process, your work-school verification. So you can register with any Google account you want or Facebook account you want, but ultimately when you get to this screen, give us your work or school email, and we will ping you. We'll send an email to that work address or school address, and you just go into that email box and verify. And the reason that's important is because we've put a lot of time and money and energy into investing into connecting you at your workplaces or at your schools. So if you saw on the first screen that I showed, you can actually filter by folks that you work with and only carpool with people from work if that's your preference. Same thing with schools. And we're going to do a lot more in the employer space as well. So that's really important. And then that's it. You get to start carpooling from here, and you'll start to see the next few screens that I'm about to show you. So our core principles for Waze Carpool, I just wanted to emphasize this at the top. It's all about you, the people, and it's all about allowing you to choose. So we have done a lot of work to basically take this app and make it all about putting people first first and foremost front and center, so you can see a list of people at the outset, and giving you as many choices as possible. So allowing you to see, again, where people work, where they live, did you go to school with them somewhere? How many stars do they have? What kind of endorsements do they have? All of these things are very, very visible to you from the outset and throughout the process. So this is what it looks like. This is setting up a carpool from a, driver's perspective, right? So driver comes in, goes through the onboarding, sees this list. And from the list, we group folks together by how convenient it is for your carpool. So you can see in this first bucket, the first people this person's seeing add about 1 to 5 minutes to their drive. So a really short detour. And you can see right off the bat how much money that you'd make for picking them up, their ratings and the reviews, places where they work. All of that is visible right off the top. Then you get to offer or request rides to as many people as you want. So request if you're a rider and offer if you're a driver. And then finally, you wait. You send those offers out. People start to communicate with you. You see what you're comfortable with, and you start to confirm carpool rides. There's some more important, this is the same thing. I don't need to go through this slide as well. There's some more important screens I wanted to highlight, one of which is the calendar view. So this allows you to see your whole week in advance, which carpools you have scheduled when. It breaks it out so that each day has 2 segments. You could have a different driver or rider on the way to work and a different driver or rider on the way home. It's very, very customizable. And then one thing that we've added with a lot of feedback from you all is easy way to switch between driver and rider state. You might not think of yourself as like, I'm a driver, or I'm a rider, or I always drive, or I always ride. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you just want to get a great easy commute to work and save some money. So there's a toggle at the top that allows you to switch between driver and rider, and that switches between the 2 apps. I know it's a little confusing that there's 2 apps. I wish it was 1 app. Hopefully we'll get there. But today it's kind of like Facebook and Facebook Messenger. So there's a lot of ties between the 2 apps, and you can switch back and forth very easily right into the area that you were. So if you were managing this ride and you click over to, or this drive and you click over to ride, it'll take you right into that state so that you can make the choices that you want to make. And finally, I mentioned employers and how we're doubling down. So when you give us your workplace email address and you verify it, or your school email address, that allows us to also aggregate your rides and your impact in the community. So this is a real shot of our employer leaderboard, which is on our website, waze.com/carpool. And you can filter by city. And when you filter by Austin, these are the 2 companies or places that come up right now, Apple and University of Texas. So there's, UT in the house. Longhorns, yep. I didn't go there, but everybody knows that. So right now, UT and Apple are the leaders in the Austin area. When I come back here in a month or 2, I want to see a ton of names on this leaderboard. I want to see all of you going out to all of your employers and schools and recruiting folks and referring them. By the way, there's an amazing referral bonus right now, $30 for you and $30 for every driver that you refer, free rides if you refer riders. But get your folks into this leaderboard, ascend the ranks, knock Apple off the perch. We don't need them at the top, right? Oh, there's an Apple guy? Okay. He's going to do his best to keep them at the top of the perch, but he's outnumbered today. So you guys all do your best to knock them off the top. But thank you, Apple. Thank you for being here. Okay, so remember this step. I've talked a lot about this like working with coworkers, how we work with employers and schools. I want to bring up my colleague Flavia to talk more about how we are investing in employers and schools to make this experience really great for you all. So warm welcome for Flavia.
Thank you, Josh. This is a great room. It's great to be here. And Josh literally just made my life so much easier by doing a call out already to the EPP program that I will be talking about. But I'm Flavia. I'm based here in Austin, and I'm with the Waze Carpool BD team. As of maybe a month ago, I joined. I was with Waze before and Google in different roles, but very excited to be part of the BD Carpool team and really figuring out how we're going to partner up with all the universities, all the employers in this U.S. central region to make this extremely successful. So what is EPP, as we call it, is basically about helping you easily connect with your coworkers, with your colleagues at university. I'm very glad to see there's some people from UT here, somebody from Apple. Love to talk to all of you later. But basically, we want your screen to look something like this, right? You know that you have all these people that are already coworkers, maybe you know them, maybe you don't know, and it's sad to look this way. We want you to.
Yes, the blue screen is the sad screen.
Exactly. Sad screen, good screen, and we want for all of you to get to know your coworkers, your colleagues, and commute with them. So the way to kick off this program is, we want to incentivize everyone to ride together, and a good way to do this would be by offering free rides from the get-go. So the program offers this 1 month of free rides, and then we help the employer or the university with a bunch of different assets. They are going to help us promote by sending newsletters out and really helping us build the awareness that's needed in order to change this behavior that we all have, jumping in our cars in the morning by ourselves and adding to the congestions that we see here in Austin and all over. So just to share a couple of examples and how we've seen impact through this program, I will share 2 specific case studies. One is with Universal Music Group. We ran a campaign, a pilot with them back in, I think, January. And prior to starting the program, they basically had 0 carpool. And after just actually 3 weeks, as a month here, but it's actually 3 weeks into the program, we had almost 60 completed carpools. Great number. You see that on the company leaderboard. They climbed up to number 1 and saved about 1,000 miles. All the employees kind of together. And as of this morning, I got an updated number.
7,000?
About 7,000.
Yeah.
So great impact, and we'll love to see other companies join the leaderboard here in Austin besides UT and in Austin. And the second one is Sony. Basically, they had seen 2 people doing carpool at the time when we started this campaign. And right about a month later, they had completed 65 carpool rides. And they're showing up on the leaderboard as number 2 with nearly 2,300 miles saved. So
I want to point out, just because the riders are riding for free, drivers are still getting their reimbursement, exactly. Right? So Waze is covering that. Riders get a free ride, and it sort of just jump starts the ecosystem within that employer. Yeah, that's what we're trying to show here. I know 65 is not a huge number, but going from 0 to 65 is pretty substantial in a place where there was no carpool culture at all. And after that time, people sort of get a sense of how it goes, and then it takes off from there.
Yeah, great point. And this is not live yet. It's what we're calling the My Company or school page. It could be either. It's going to be live. I'm not sure if we have soon, right? Let's say
soon. Always works.
Yeah. Soon. But we want to empower the employers, the universities, to have visibility into who within their companies, obviously with your consent, you would go to this page and register yourself if you want it to be visible to your employer, to your school, that you are carpooling and helping out. You would show up, and we love to work with them to create further incentives besides the month of free carpools that we offer you. We'll love to go a step further and help them figure out how they can build in other incentives for you guys.
Waze has seen a lot of success over the years with our leaderboards and the points that you earn by reporting things. And, I don't know if you know this, but the points don't actually get you anything today. We're actually looking at that, though. They may get you something someday. But we saw a lot of success, like maybe one of those Waze shirts, like my friend up there. We saw a lot of success with that. And so we're extending that model to this. But obviously here, there's real impact, and you're sort of saving the planet by carpooling. So there's always that.
And let's see what else we have here. So any of you can participate in this, can help us, whether you are somebody who actually have control of this within your school or company. If you are, you can come and talk to me today, or, my contact is here. Please have someone in your HR, whoever takes care of this within your organization, to write to me. I'll be more than happy to get them set up in this program. And there are other ways you guys can get involved and really help out. We've heard amazing carpool stories from other front seat carpools that I have been to.
Romantic relationships, people have found jobs.
Josh knows a lot more.
Yeah, I have all the anecdotes. You can come talk to me afterwards.
Exactly.
But we want to hear your stories.
We want to hear your stories. I mean, the most recent one that I thought was really, really cool is this guy in Sunnyvale, like a month ago. I was at that last front seat carpool. He hired 2 people, like people that were riding with him into his startup. So pretty cool way.
Also, people like, since we show what employer your rider or driver is working at, if you're looking for a job, you can find people at a place where you might want to. Yeah. So it works both ways.
Yeah, we never know what's going to be the motivation for you to carpool, but that's certainly.
And then they're stuck with you for an hour, so it's like a pre-job interview.
Exactly, it's true. Nowhere to run, right? And you can also follow us on social media. All the updates will be posted there. You know, in terms of our roadmaps and new features,
new launches. Features. Also, just fun stuff like that video you took will probably be on Instagram if it's not already there. Juhi's usually pretty quick on this stuff, so follow us.
Please join us there. And if you want to go in depth into really telling us, you know, this needs to be improved. There's a bug that I found, or feature request. There is a separate community on our Facebook public Facebook group page. Is the Waze Carpool community, so you can go there for this type of very
in-depth, very in-depth
topics. Yes. You got, some of you, maybe not all of you, has gotten 5 or 6 stickers on your chair. If you didn't, you can come and talk to us after.
We have more.
Or go through the webpage right there and request stickers. But we're running the Carpool Sticker Challenge, and you basically have to send and submit photos on Instagram and just tag it. And
and you can put them anywhere legal. Please don't put them in places where it's not allowed. If you have children or pets, that is legal. Stop signs is not legal. So just use your discretion. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll look through them and select and feature you on the pages. So if you want all the updates, the next webinar will be on the 16th of May. All the invites will be sent on Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media. So more to come there. If you want to talk to us, get all the newest, the latest and greatest, please join us. And last but not least, the next front seat tour will be in Seattle end of May. We don't have a date yet, but stay tuned and invite all your friends. If you know anybody in Seattle that would like to go to one of these events or that already carpool, please let them know.
Yes, we try to do an event or a webinar every 3 weeks. So every 6 weeks for one of these and then a webinar in between. So there's a lot of ways that you can contact us, reach out to us, tell us about that feature that you hate or that feature that's just missing, and let us know what you're thinking.
And
is that it?
That's it, right?
Yeah,
and then
so
we're going to jump into
questions.
Short and sweet. We're going to go into FAQ.
Yeah, questions. So let me just pop out of here for a second. All right, so the first thing is there were a lot of questions in the survey that you guys took when you RSVP'd, so I want to address some of those right off the bat. I think I hopefully have addressed this one, how we are different from other apps in the marketplace. There are a lot of benefits of carpooling with Waze. We throw the best events. We have the best wine and food. There's a lot of reasons. If I haven't addressed this, speak now. Do you get it? Does it make sense? Okay, cool. Let's hit the next one. Okay, so what if my commute isn't the same every day? So I'm gonna play, we do these videos sometimes on social, just so I can take a breather, so you can see Josh the carpool guy on the screen rather than down here. Let's play this real quick.
The carpool guy. A lot of you have asked about ride preferences and how to change them. Well, I have to tell you, there's a lot of power in the red edit button. Click on that red button inside your ride request, and you can change your time and location preferences for that day or for the whole week. Check it out. Let us know what you think.
Man, that guy's handsome. Okay, so that should answer that question. If your commute isn't the same every day, it's very easy to change. Look for that edit button. Okay, we had a bunch of questions about why are there 2 apps, Waze and Waze Carpool. Ugh, I know, I feel your pain. I think we're heading towards a world though where there will be one app, and I don't know other than saying soon when that would be. But you can see that we've unified the driver and rider experiences, so it's very similar between the two. And I think that there will be a time someday where you can do everything within Waze. It is nice to have Waze Carpool as a second app. I will say there are a lot of people that are now Waze fans or exposed to Waze that never had a car, right? Like if you didn't have a car, if you bike or walk to work or you take transit, you don't have need for a navigation app, and that's what Waze is. But now Waze Carpool allows you to get the best of this service without having to download a big heavy app that takes a lot of data and battery power and all that stuff. So that's why Waze Carpool is there. I think we'll keep that app, but I think we'll get to a world someday where Waze controls everything. Is it safe to carpool with strangers? I mean, obviously, I think yes. I do it all the time. I've done over 50 carpools myself. I really haven't met anyone that I wouldn't carpool with again. But I think we give you a lot of tools. So I mentioned this before, but you can chat in-app with people before you ride with them. You can call them using a proxy phone number, so not your own phone number, a number that is just essentially like a fake number that just gets used once. You get to see where they work, where, if you went to school together, Facebook circles, LinkedIn circles, ratings and reviews. So after every ride, you get to give somebody a 5-star rating, and then their ratings are public, and you get to endorse them. If you had a really great conversation, you get to say great conversation. If you like their car, you get to say great car, those kinds of things. So there's a lot of information about your carpoolers before the ride. So please take advantage of that. Okay, that's all the preset questions. Let's go to audience questions. Orit over here has a microphone, so don't be shy. Whoever gets the first question gets the first t-shirt. Oh, and I should say, everybody gets a t-shirt. so, but first question, we'll let you pick what size shirt you want.
Oh, great.
Okay, great.
So does the email verification for...
I just wanted people to see you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Does the email verification prevent you from using, doing like a co-working space or something like that? Like if you're all in the same place, but you all have separate email addresses? Like how do you treat that?
That's a really interesting use case. So you all have different email work domains, but you work at the same physical location.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a feature request. We're going to make that work. So right now we're using email domains. We could obviously use addresses to validate it in another way, but it'd be a little more complicated. So that's a really great use case that I'll make sure to get back to the product team. You have a second question?
Second question.
Yeah.
So are you allowed to block people from ever showing up on your app if you ride with them and you hate them?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. Yeah, if you have a bad experience, number one, let us know so that we can investigate if there's something weird. Number two, you can block a person and then they never show up in your list again. And they can block you as well. So double block. Yeah. Blocky block. Yes.
So my big issue is when I go home, I don't have a car. Is there an easier way to show an area that doesn't have a lot of drivers to get them to have drivers? Because there's a lot of access in Austin, but going home to Boston, there's nothing there.
Right. So you're from Boston, Massachusetts?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
So what we're trying to do, we have a lot of data within Waze that shows these pockets of density. Mm-hmm. And what we are trying to do is invest in places where we see seeds of growth, but also invest in places where we see holes, mm-hmm. where we really know we need more drivers or riders or vice versa. And that's another one of the benefits of two apps is that it's really easy for us to see where we have more of one or the other, and then make investments either by doing an EPP and getting an employer in a hole on board with free rides and just boosting the number of riders. So yes, the short answer is yes. We monitor those things. We're trying to balance a pretty complicated marketplace, and we try to invest where we see the need.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. We'll go there, and then here. So you're third in line. You're in the hole.
Hi, is there an option for going to high traffic places like a grocery store or something like that?
Yeah. So like I said, any one of your commute segments, you can change. It doesn't have to be your home or it doesn't have to be the gym. You can make it any address you want. So let's say you're heading home tonight and you want to go to the grocery store instead of hitting home. You just change the address to the grocery store. And there's no time limits with Waze Carpool. So there's some other services out there where you have to request by a certain time or book by a certain time. With us, we'll try to find you a ride right up until your departure time. So you just change the location and then you ride. We look for your ride or your drive. And if you don't get it, get it next time. But you can put in any address you want. It doesn't have to be your home location. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I have two questions that are both sort of about the reimbursement reimbursement issues. So you mentioned earlier that I can add passengers as a driver, but if I understood it correctly, the reimbursement is per mile. So does adding more passengers do anything other than fighting traffic, or? Great question. How does that work?
So as a rider, it makes things cheaper. So if there are multiple, so let me back up for a step. We had multiple passengers in a previous version of the app. We redesigned a bunch of things on the back end. And so now currently at this moment, it's one driver and one rider. but we are quickly going to add back multiple passengers. When we do that, if another passenger joins your journey, you as a passenger, your price will automatically decrease because again, you're splitting that, that reimbursement money among multiple people. For the driver, it should also increase their rates a little bit up to that max. So you're not earning 54 cents a mile automatically on every single route. We have a lot of different pricing curves, and on some shorter, some longer routes, it varies, but sometimes there's a little buffer between what you're earning and the 54. But if you get multiple passengers, you'll get to that max. I should also say that there is a maximum reimbursement based on, we have sort of an arbitrary limit. So if your carpool is over 30 miles or 35 miles, $15 is the maximum that you can earn on that trip. So some of you with super long commutes, I know you were thinking $20, $25. 15 is sort of an arbitrary limit that we've set at this point because we don't want anybody to run afoul of the IRS and sort of the reimbursement, the limits and the laws and things like that. There's also a certain amount of money that you can earn in a year for reimbursement for driving expenses. So we're trying to keep people below that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Awesome.
The second question is about the employer 60-day free or 30-day free program. So I work at Google, as a bunch of people here, I'm sure. I haven't heard of any programs that Google has. Do you guys know about that?
Let me hand it to Flavia.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, since you asked, I wasn't going to spoil it. There is an email that's going to be sent out very soon. So starting May 1st, you guys get free rides, all of us, and we'll be able to try it out. So
for limited time.
Limited time, yes.
Limited time,
but it's coming. Glad you asked.
So that's awesome. Woo! Okay, where are we now? Oh, down here, my friend in the front. I promised him.
5+ rides.
Yeah. Is he one of our 5+? You did more than 5 rides, right, sir?
I did.
All right, awesome. Drives or rides?
Rides.
Rides. How was it? Tell everybody.
It was good. I'm Facebook friends with my driver.
Oh, awesome. Wait, before or after?
No, after.
After?
Yeah.
So now you added them to your actual friends.
I did.
That's great. Or Facebook friends.
Yeah.
Well, he might be watching, or she.
That's true. There's a
I'll keep it. Yeah. Go ahead.
So my employer supports commuter spending accounts,
Yes.
but I don't think that Waze currently works.
That is
with
correct.
The provider.
And there's a reason for that.
Will it ever work, or?
So my hope is that someday, yes, but the reason is actually not. It's not our bad. It's okay. So a little bit of history. So commuter tax benefit dollars, those pre-tax dollars that you set aside for driving or commuting. Right? It's mostly for commuting, like Metro cards and things like that. It also applies to van pools. So with a van pool, you're in a passenger vehicle that's 6 or 7 seats or more, and technically 3 of those seats have to be used for that trip. So because we don't control what vehicle is picking you up, we can't activate those dollars yet. So technically speaking, a 6 or 7 passenger SUV or van has to pick you up, and 3 of those seats have to be full. Uber and Lyft can do that because they run these services called Pool and Line, where they tell you, they determine which vehicles are going where, and they fill them with a lot of people. What we're trying to do, and what I would love to do, is advocate on a national level for carpool, because these are old rules based on days when there was no technology. Carpool dollars, carpools that we're all riding in with 1 or 2 or 3 people should count for this, no matter how big your vehicle is. So we're going to try to advocate on a nationwide level for changing that rule so that pre-tax commuter dollars can be used for carpools. So shout out to my policy team that's working on this and the Google policy team. We're going to have to change some very slow-moving vehicles in Washington, but I would hopefully like to get that done so that you guys can use money that's tax-free for carpool. That'd be amazing. Thank you for the question. Yes, over here.
I've got 2 questions. The first one, have you got any other than Google promises about insurance for the drivers?
Sure. So what do you mean by other than Google promises?
Like State Farm, somebody that's got on board and said that it's okay for you to do this and you're covered?
Yeah. So I have had conversations with insurance companies that I can't publicly put on a website, but we've talked to folks at many insurance companies that have said this use case that you guys are describing is covered under the same general liability insurance coverages that most people have. So the use case that we are running is basically if I wanted to ride to the airport with you, I'd be covered under your typical insurance coverage, assuming that you were covered properly for that drive. So from our perspective, in order to use Waze Carpool, you have to have the insurance based on where you live and what state you're in, required to drive like as if we were having that friend drive. And these drives count under those insurance coverages.
Even with the reimbursements.
Correct. Yes, because they're under that 54 cents threshold. The minute you go above 54 cents and you're making a profit, you need to buy rideshare coverage from your insurance provider. And we don't want anybody to have to do that. So none of the insurance companies in the US at least will come out and say that right away because they want to sell rideshare insurance and they're okay with the confusion. In Israel, where Waze has been operating for some time, the second largest insurance company did come out and say, yes, this is fine, you guys are kosher, because it's Israel.
So my second question is probably a feature request.
Yes.
I smoke.
Yes.
I live in Texas.
Yeah.
Other people smoke.
Uh-huh.
Maybe nobody in this room.
I don't know.
But I don't know that people
Well, what are you
gonna wanna
talking
get
about?
in
What
my
kind of
car
smoke?
if I smoke.
Right. I'm from California. We just legalized.
Either way.
So, yeah. So here's what I would suggest. We give everybody 2 lines of free text on their profile and use those free lines any way you'd like. Say, I'm a smoker, smokers only, or I'm a smoker, if you're okay with that, great. Use those lines to let people know what they're in for. I just had a guy ask me yesterday who drives with his dog to work every day. So I encouraged him to put that in his little free text so people know what they're getting into. And that should be fine. That should weed out most of the people there's another pun. Weed out most of the people. Yes.
Hey, are there any limitations on the vehicles themselves that are available or that you can use for this?
Sure. So as long as it's not a motorcycle, you should be fine. I know it's sad. I have a little Vespa in San Francisco, and I would love to give people a ride on that, but we're not doing that yet. So any vehicle, as long as it has one available seat, is perfectly fine. Within the app, you can say how many seats you have available so that when we go back to multiple passengers, I think we say up to 4. So I have an SUV as well, and so mine's always set to 4, so I can fill it with up to 4 people. Awesome questions, guys. Keep them coming. I think we have a couple more minutes, and then release the t-shirts. What? Yeah. Yes.
I was just curious, you said that currently it's not an available feature, but that you're looking to bring it back.
Multiple passengers?
Multiple passengers.
Yes, we had it, we took it away, and then it's going to be coming back.
Do you know, though, is it like Uber and Lyft where it's sort of journey-based as
Great
opposed
question.
to destination-based?
So,
is that algorithm?
Yes, so when we had it, it was one pickup. So multiple passengers had to aggregate at one pickup point. We don't want drivers feeling like they're Uber drivers or Lyft drivers. That's not what this is about. So what we would do is try to aggregate people who were close enough and could get by walking to one pickup point and then one drop-off point at the other end. And then riders could see other existing drives that were already taking place, and if it made sense for them, could walk to those pickup points and places like that. So yeah, thank you for that question because it clarifies something that I should have hit before. Where's the mic? Where are we? Up there? Yes, sir.
Is there a contingency on vehicle fails? Like if you get stuck somewhere?
So if your car breaks down?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I would say, so one thing that we are looking at is, and it's another feature that we had way back in the day that we might want to bring back based on user demand, which is guaranteed ride home. So let's say you get to work in a carpool and then an hour before your carpool to home takes place, somebody cancels on you. In that circumstance, we would dispatch a driver to you or send you a coupon code for using one of the other services to get you home. So I would say, because we're in a growth state right now and we're trying to make our customers as happy as possible, that if you were in a vehicle that broke down and you called our customer service line or you got in touch with one of our agents, most likely we would send you a ride to your destination courtesy of us. Now, if you were driving, I'm not going to send you a tow truck. So hopefully you have, roadside assistance. But as a rider, if you were stranded in a vehicle where your driver was trying to get you home and you really needed to get out of there, we would probably dispatch something for you. Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you. I think you mentioned there was no time limit as a rider if you want to change your destination. But what is the one as a driver? Because as a rider, I want to know that my driver is going to be reliable and I'm not going to get stranded.
So what you're talking about, once your carpool is booked? Yeah. So once your carpool is booked, the driver's locked into that destination. if they want to change it, we encourage folks to use in-app chat to change it, and it is changeable. And actually, we're building some tools to make it really easy to change, so that a driver could like sort of send a screenshot of like, hey, how about this as a drop-off on a map, and then the rider could just accept like, that works for me or not. So we're investing in that experience because we know people's schedules change and things happen, and you need to get to the doctor's office to pick up a kid or something. So we're investing in that, and we want to make sure that people can do that. But as of today, you're locked in once your time is set.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes.
Hey, so what about like a 2-person, 1-car household that is already going to 2 different locations? Like, how does that work if you pick up multiple people?
Okay, wait, there was a lot of variables there. So
like for
yes.
instance, we
So,
have
hypothetically speaking.
Right, we
Yeah.
have 1 car and
Yeah.
he works here and I work up at UT. Could we pick up multiple people, like someone
so-
going to one location and
Yes.
then coming here?
So he could set this as home, and once you're dropped off, pick up a rider from somewhere around this area to his final destination, and make carpool money and save the earth from here to there. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. Do that. Let me know if that works. Yeah. Are we good? Down here? Or Reed's doing double duty, like up the stairs, down the stairs. I wish we had more mics.
It's good exercise.
Here.
So, in like the profile information, is your height ever listed? Because I drive a Mini.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So that's what the free text field is for. If you don't, if you can only accommodate people to a certain height, feel free to say that in your free text. We probably won't create a filter so that you can filter by height. I don't know if that's going to work, but you should absolutely let people know the conditions of your vehicle. Hopefully it's a nice Mini. It's clean, right? Yeah. It's just small. Yeah, that's fair. No, I think that's really fair to say. Some people, if you have an hour commute and somebody who's 6'8" gets in, like that's not going to be comfortable for you or for them. So you might as well suss that out ahead of time. I like that question. First time I've gotten that question.
My brother's like 6'5", so he always drives in the back.
Yeah, but he's your brother. You can torture him. Yeah, I have a brother too. Yes, sir.
You mentioned there being like a pickup area that everyone goes to. Is that the same for dropping them off?
In multiple passengers?
Yeah.
Yes. So on the drop off and the pickup side, there would be one spot for the driver to drop all the passengers off, just like the spot where they picked everybody up. That is subject to change. When we bring the service back or the multiple passenger feature back, it could be different, but that's how we had it before. We did not want drivers making more than one drop or more than one pickup, because then it just starts to feel like you're a taxi driver, and that's not why we're here. Yes.
Hi. So I know you mentioned there was a cap on
the reimbursement money.
Yeah, the reimbursement for certain distances.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're not concerned with the financial aspect so much, but just splitting a ride, long distance, do you have plans to institute like long distance ride share?
Yes. So actually, there's no limit today on how far you can get a ride. There's a guy on our team that got a ride from Los Angeles to his home in Modesto, which is north of San Francisco, and got it through Carpool and carpooled the whole way. And it was actually a free ride. So I forgot to mention this, drivers can drag a little slider all the way down to 0. So if you're just in it to win it for the earth, go for it. Drag it down to 0, and you'll show up to riders as a free ride, and you'll get a lot of hits. And you'll do wonderful things for the earth. So it is totally doable, and we encourage people who are just in this, not for the reimbursement money, but to meet people and other altruistic things, to drag that slider to 0. Yes, sir.
You mentioned there's a referral bonus. How do I refer people?
Yeah, so in the app itself, I should have included a little video. Sorry that I don't have it. There's a little screen in the settings that says, it's different for driver and rider, but there's a couple of screens that basically say, give rides or get cash or something like that. You have a personal referral code, and you forward that to your friend. And when they onboard, if they input that code, once they've completed their first drive, you get $30 and they get $30. And because that's disassociated from any rides, it's, don't worry about, it's not subject to any of the other restrictions. And then on the rider side, similarly, if you refer a rider and they onboard and complete a ride. You get free rides, they get free rides. So that's going for as long as, I think referral programs are great. So I'd like to keep that in effect for as long as possible. But let us know what you think. If you think it should be different, if it should have different terms, if it should have a better bonus, or you're interested in something else, we'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you. Yes.
Hey, how's it going? So I tried to use the service once, and I admit, kind of a weird experience because my ride was supposed to be $1.50, and the guy who was trying to give me the ride kept asking me for $20 over chat.
Oh no.
Is there anything
Red
in place
flag.
to kind of prevent that?
So this was before the ride or after?
This is before the ride. I didn't have to.
Yeah. Oh, so you said it didn't happen. Yeah, I would report that to us, and we will look into those circumstances. And there are bad actors on every marketplace or every platform. If it is a bad actor, if they're doing that, if they're harassing people, we'll remove them from the platform. That's absolutely not how we want the service to run. So let us know. Yeah, thank you. How long ago was this?
A couple months ago, like October.
Okay.
It was like when you guys-
Oh, when we first rolled out. Yeah. All right. Come talk to me after. All right. Yes.
Cool. So driving to work every day, we use Waze pretty much every day. And one of the cool things about it is that it tells us the fastest way to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a driver and my route changes because Waze tells me to go a different way, how do you accommodate that for picking up people in real time?
So when you're in the carpool mode, like it takes over your location. So it will drive them, it will say like carpooling to pickup point. And so it'll find you the best route to that pickup point. And then once you've hit the pickup point, then it sort of recalculates and says best route to the drop-off point. So at each segment along the way, it's finding you the best route. So I guess your question is, if something really bad happens before pickup and it's like a huge detour to get to the pickup?
Well, so if I don't, like, depending on the time of day or whatever, so I don't have to edit it every single day because every morning, sometimes it could be a different route.
Right.
So do I have to then go in and edit the route to accommodate for who I'm going to pick up along the way, or will it?
No, we'll handle that. We'll handle that. And we'll also tell you if there's an HOV lane on your route and you're in a carpool, it will automatically route you to the HOV. So HOV routing is a new feature that we just launched in Waze in the last couple months. So if you have an HOV lane on your route, every time you look at your route, you should see here's the time with HOV and without HOV. And even if you're not carpooling, you can still pick HOV lane and pretend you're carpooling, and Waze will route you that way. But if you're actually in a carpool with our service, we will automatically route you through HOV because that's the best way to go. So yeah, we'll handle all of that. Okay, so we can close it out there, yeah? Yeah, thank you all so much. Shirts are gonna be available at tables out where it was. Really appreciate you guys coming. I'll stick around for a few minutes for questions. Thanks, Austin. We'll see you in the carpool lane. Oh, yeah, real quick, we'll also have a support table outside. If you had any trouble downloading or onboarding, there'll be people outside to help you guys.